Welcome to the greatest game of Jenga and ping pong. So today, as you know, it's Friday and I haven't made a video in a while now. So I would like to make this video and basically start making more videos. I know I've been pretty consistent with the streams now, but I do want to get going with these videos because I feel like there are very key things that I could point out in videos that maybe I don't have the time to on the streams. So these are two major things that I want to talk about today. One was this trade because it was juicy and it was definitely predictable. And two, I want to talk about why do I keep consistently calling this game nothing but a game of Jenga and a game of ping pong? Well, I'm going to answer that right now. First, I would like to touch on my trade that I did today. This was all live stream. You can go back and see it. It's all on my channel every single day I stream, except with the exception on Monday. Sometimes I will, but sometimes I won't because I don't do that well on Mondays. But you know what? The last couple Mondays have been amazing for me, so I can't really say that. But anyways, I'm pretty much consistently from Tuesday through Friday streaming. So what I want to talk about, this trade right here, this level here, this 60 area, basically we got dumped on after we, I guess, rallied to the 73. We sold all the way back down to the 47. I actually wanted to take this long right here at 52. I think I was streaming at this point right now. Yes, I was. I didn't, I hesitated, but I did wait. I did want to wait for this 60 level to get reclaimed, meaning we get back above and we now turn this area into support because this was that area that we had broken down earlier. So obviously it did trap and it does the magical V, as you can see that right here. That's the V for victory. And basically once we got back above there, I should have added long here, but I did not. I should have. And then what ends up happening is we rip. We talked about this on the live stream, this idea of this big seller or buyer that was here sitting at the 65. And I pretty much touched on how once we get that buyer out of here, we're going to either rip or we're going to have some form of action because that was a big buyer there. And boy, did we got a good reaction. Look at that. We ran all the way to that resistance at 78.82, and that was just very clean move. And the previous all-time high is sitting at 88, respectfully right there. We didn't really quite test it, but we did in a way. I mean, we got up there. Like, am I gonna complain that we didn't quite fill 88 where I drew my circle on the stream? No, I'm gonna take profit up here because these moves like this, I mean, they're not every single day, right? So we do gotta take profit. Anyway, so we're coming back down, and yeah, that's the trade I did today. It's all recorded. We did about over $2,000 on that trade, so that was great to get back the profits I had from Thursday. That was a bad Thursday for me, but either way, it doesn't matter. This is that trade that gets us back into the green, back into the scoreboard. So that's a trade I really wanted to touch on. Now on to my second point of this video, which is why do I keep on calling this game nothing but the greatest game of Jenga and ping pong? Well, I'm gonna try to put it on the screen and for you to visualize alongside with me. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. If I could make it as simple as possible, I would have to describe it like this. 88 is the current all-time high. That was the resistance that we've been basically looking up towards since back in June 17, the day we broke above that previous resistance right there. I'm going to show you better soon. Just follow along. This is the current all-time high. That's the top of the table. Ceiling. Where is the bottom? This 1920 level right down here. Why? Well, there is no such thing as guessing. All we gotta do is go back and see, and I can show you right here that this was the previous all-time high, if I'm not mistaken, right there. And this was resistance that was from June 12th, and we broke above it on June 17th. So you can see that right here. This is the top of the table. This is the bottom of the table, I would say right here. Okay, this is another table. We've left this one now. Okay, top, bottom. We break above it. We rally. It could have been 88. It could have been 98. It could have been 5,600. It doesn't matter where it is. Point is, here is 88. And then we trickle back down, and I don't need to guess where we're going to bounce from. We're going to be bouncing from the previous resistance, which is right here. We're going to bounce from there and continue to base out so that we can make this the new level of major support, and we can turn that area into the Jenga puzzle and step on higher, if that makes sense. So how did I know 19 was gonna bounce from there? Well, you gotta test the demand, right? I take longs from that area, and I did take longs from that area. I stream from Tuesday through Fridays every single morning, and you can see, you can rewind the tape that I did take longs off this 20 level, and especially when we have a failed breakdown. This is a trap. This is what a trap looks like, right to the bottom or into the level of previous level of supports. But like I said, this is the major one, 2019, because that was the previous high. I don't need to guess. This is the previous high. We could have gone all the way down here to 92. It doesn't really matter, right? The trap can go as deep as it feels like it. But this is that key level that we must build above it. And usually traps are not that deep. They're depends obviously, but I like to give them like 3-10 points. It depends on the overall action, but basically very simple. This is the bottom of our table tennis. We do dip below, and if you had bought every single dip that we do go below, all right, then obviously you would have been rewarded with a great overall push. Now, the way I view traps is there's two different key things here, two elements. So you can see this is the first level that actually dipped, or the first leg that got us to dip below the trap, right? So two things must happen with this trap. This is the original trap, but these are like second, third, fourth, whatever traps, right? Now, there's only two things that really matter. For a trap to actually hold and for a trap to actually continue to be a trap is there are two elements right here. The original push to the downside must not get broken because that's the original trap, right? We are trying to get back above 19, which is the previous level of resistance. You got to follow along with me. That's the previous level of resistance that must hold. And it does. 1, 2, and potentially 3 times with this wick here. Now, we did dip below it. So this is now the lowest level that is acceptable for me to basically still be thinking bullish, to still be thinking to the upside. And you can see here, we attempted to break back above 19, and we did, but we struggled a little bit. We dipped back right back below. So this is still another second trap. However, it is not a failed trap or anything. The point is, this is the level that must hold, and this is our level of support at the bottom of that table at 2019 area. And you can see every time we got back above, you technically got some nice pushes above it. It depends if you got greedy, you didn't take profit, well, then it ended up coming right back down. This area was very trapping, was very difficult. Usually with one trap is enough. With one, we can get going to the upside. And then with the trend, because the trend is your friend, ultimately, I do think we are still going to basically come back above here, 88, and break and go back up to the upside. I do think that. With the exception of if we come back down here and then we break down 19 and then we break down this 10 level, then at that point I can start to think maybe we're going to be going on lower, right? So I never need to really guess where the trend is headed. I don't ever need to guess where to be buying. That's the beautiful thing about support and resistance. You can see this on the hourly chart. It might make it a little bit easier for you to see that this is nothing but a game of ping pong. We got to the top, the sellers slap price right back down to the previous area of resistance, and then we got pushing all the way back up to 84.75. So we haven't quite broken that level of 88. So I hope that kind of made a little bit more sense, and showing you another example from the previous level of playground that we were in. You can see that this was the support right here, right? That was the support. 1, 2, and this is the trap right to the bottom right here. We break below. You can see that we break below support. We squeeze right back above. We have a nice rally. We come back here for a second test, and you can see how that area got tested again and basically cemented into support. And after this trap was set right here, look what ends up happening. We basically rally right back above or right to the resistance, and then we squeeze the crap out of the shorts. Same thing is ultimately, I think, what might end up happening here. It might not this time, but the idea is simple. We've already trapped to the downside. in the end, we might end up squeezing right back above it. But you can see that this area here has been very difficult, very, I guess you could say much larger area than this area down here. It's very obvious to see that. We've been in here for quite some time now. And why that is, it just is what it is. The game doesn't always look the same, but the idea is always the same. That the high, the low is always cemented. And therefore, they're both gonna keep on testing until one breaks. And right now, the only trap I see here is to the downside. Therefore, well, unfortunately, we're gonna squeeze right back up to the upside. That's what I think.